US President Barack Obama has sought to ease tensions over his comments last week that a future border between Israel and a Palestinian state should follow the pre-1967 lines. In a speech to a powerful Jewish lobby in America, President Obama said that border should be the subject of discussions and agreement between the two parties. While the distinction was warmly received in Washington, it hasn't changed many opinions in either Israel or the Palestinian territories. Middle East correspondent Ben Knight reports from Jerusalem.
Not surprisingly, the diplomatic punch-up between the US President and the Prime Minister of Israel has been dominating the news in this region. When Benjamin Netanyahu bluntly rejected the idea of starting peace talks on the basis of the 1967 borders, it was regarded as a serious snub to Barack Obama. But the American president hit back, speaking directly to the major pro-Israel lobby in the United States and reiterated his point firmly, saying he was only making public what's been said in private for years.
I said that the United States believes that negotiations should result in two states, with permanent Palestinian borders with Israel, Jordan, and Egypt, and permanent Israeli borders with Palestine. The borders of Israel and Palestine should be based on the 1967 lines with mutually agreed swaps, so that secure and recognized borders are established for both states.
But the president got loud applause when he effectively promised to block any attempt by Palestinians to have the United Nations recognise their state without the agreement of Israel. Barack Obama's speech pushed hard on both sides, but pundits say that doesn't mean he's found a middle ground.
Obama's adopted a strategy the United States has used in the past, taking several principles favourable to one side and several principles favourable to the other side. The problem with this strategy is that the sides look only at those principles which are unfavourable to them and therefore reject the whole package.
In the West Bank, for example, the president's stern tone towards Israel on borders means very little to Sadat al-Gharaib, who lives surrounded by Jewish settlers.
All that Obama said is in favour of Israel. He started off sad and sorry for an Israeli boy who lost his foot because of a Palestinian rocket, but he did not have any feeling towards the 1,500 martyrs who were cut to pieces in Gaza 2 years ago. All that he is concerned with is the security and the interest of Israel.
But that's not how some Israelis heard the speech. To them, Barack Obama's tough warning to the Palestinians against going to the UN and against getting into bed with Hamas were not the main story. Already, there have been protests against the American demand that the negotiations start from the 1967 borderlines.
We deserve a secure peace, and we don't deserve a peace that we can't defend. Don't send Israel to its death by supporting policies that are wrong, that are popular but wrong.
It's hard to know straight away just how this speech has been received in general in Israel. There are moderate voices on both sides, but opinion writers in Israeli newspapers are sounding dire warnings about everything from diplomatic isolation, as happened to apartheid South Africa, to all-out war if an emboldened Arab people on Israel's borders try to invade in greater numbers than they did last weekend. It was a scene that terrified many Israelis, and it was something that Barack Obama himself alluded to in his speech.
A new generation of Arabs is reshaping the region. A just and lasting peace can no longer be forged with one or two Arab leaders. Going forward, millions of Arab citizens have to see that peace is possible for that peace to be sustained.
The American president has made his point clearly and moved on to Ireland, where he plans to visit his family's ancestral village. It's also a place that shows it's possible for two blood enemies who share the same patch of land to eventually come to terms, however unlikely that may seem. Ben Knight, Lateline.